So anyway, we did the red room, the project space, the back room, and the front room. That'll be the order. And we do a casual. It's a so without further ado, again, I guess I can speak for Baron. His installation is a response to receiving all of these boxes. What do you call the delivery people? From Amazon.
He says.
So he's like, his life is all boxes, like ours. So that's what it is, boxes everywhere. Somebody just knocks them down. This is terrible. Anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly how it started.
Yeah.
He came to us asking us if he could do a show so he can finally get rid of all these boxes that are stuck in his entrance of his house. And that's the red room.
And that's him behaving. He said he was gonna like really fill it out. That's what I was hoping. Making it impossible. Anyway, our project space, we treat the spaces differently. The project space is just handed over to the artist, and they trip over their own wires, and they list out the space usually as an installation, not a small exhibition. It's just the hope. That space is called the Great Glass Elevator. Mr. Willy Wonka, because he has many buttons. You press whatever button you want and you go wherever you're gonna go. And Brother Kang has taken us through a sand garden.
That's right.
Yes. Thank all y'all for stepping out the young tonight. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you to Imperfect Gallery for even having spaces for people can actually bring what they want into a room compared to what should be there. You know what I mean? It was definitely dope just kicking him Tyrell, watching him go through his process, and then seeing Rennie like fly through here like last minute, like making all this together. I'm going home. It was very fun, y'all. Before I really get into the full part of the installation, I have my brother here who was done Zen Terror painting on the wall. And I also asked one thing before all y'all leave to actually take that broom and stand in the sand and like, it's relaxing as hell. That's what I was thinking. There's a baby here. Air is soft. Jetty, A-Track, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let him come up and talk to you about his Zen Terrors and who he is and what he do a little bit. Cause he did my sneakers and he do all the sneakers for the team. You know what I mean? Like anybody, these some older ones, cause I've been skateboarding and I ain't want to mess up some new ones he did for me. But yes, y'all, please, I would love your name to be shared.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank everyone here in Perfect Art Gallery for this wonderful opportunity. I'm incredibly proud of my brother. This right here is just amazing. We talked about creating worlds. We created worlds through music, and now to see my brother create worlds through his canvas, through structures, through sculptures, through even creating a Zen garden where he's inviting you all to come and to release and express through the sands the very foundation of what he's built. It's beautiful to me. So first, thank you for that. I go by the name of Jetty A-Track. I'm an artist, visual, recording, performing, a writer, many other trades as well, all in the artistic field. My piece, Zen Tears, the name was inspired by my lady, aka the Color Duchess. And the piece itself came about when my brother told me that he was gonna have this exhibit, and I was just like, all right, so what colors, what tones, what are you looking for so that I can match it? Let's go wild, it's gonna work. I'm, all right. Huh.
You just made the thing?
Huh?
You just busted it that way out?
Yeah.
You know, it took you 6 months to make that.
It was fun. It was more fun than anything else, you know. playlists include, you know, a little bit of De La Soul, a little bit of Little Brother, a little bit of Tamia, you know, things that just energized my spirit enough for me to continue to have fun with it, to stay focused on the tone, which I wanted to bring a certain type of flyness to the color red. I love sunsets, the way sunsets bring a certain accentuation to the blues and the purples and the sky and whatnot, especially the way that clouds seem to disappear into the blackness of the sky, into the dark, deep hue of blue. You know, I wanted to capture that. I wanted to capture the calm and the essence of what sunset is. And also to incorporate something that represented lineage, something that represented a story, a totem pole, and what that means to the people who came before and what that represents to the people that will come after. So ladies and gentlemen, that's Zen Tears. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And you
Thank
told
you.
that you're not taking that piece home.
Oh, no.
So
Somebody's gonna be very happy.
that's definitely my partner in crime in a lot of crimes. Joy is crimes. Zen Tears was a very fly name. I was happy he picked it when he picked it. I figured like 1,000% it definitely has something to do with shit. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't long. But what made me make a Zen garden was the thought of every time I go somewhere, like I go to the horticultural society shows and all that, like I love the flower show. I would watch the exhibits they would make, the frame windows or like the frame painted with the flowers, and I was like, that's fire. And when I got the opportunity to use the glass elevator, I got like a 3 weeks, this is gonna be your passport. You know what I mean? What would you bring here? And to use a room to its true size, well, for real, I give credit to Rennie, because I had an idea of a Zen garden, but trying to control the amount of sand and not thinking that we could border it off and then allow people to have enough room to actually relax and enjoy themselves. When people will always be like, yo, you gotta tie something to what you're doing so people can understand you more. For me, it was like, well, if I just look, I'm gonna keep walking around and these actions are going to show you what I'm into. Yet I get it, to communicate with someone who may not view from actions or wait to see an action. I chose joy and peace and calmness because those are things I really bang with. And if I was to sell something as an idea for someone to enjoy, it would be something that someone can go relax in. Something that someone can actually take time, and when you focus and pay attention to what you're doing, really the outside world doesn't have no thought. That thought 5 minutes ago that was bothering you has found its way to an end for a time frame of whatever you're focusing on. I don't care if you're doodling, sketching, staring at the clouds, the world that was bothering you will fall off and you'll be like, oh, this is what cool. And then you can resume from that. The panda comes from my brother Rob. You know what I mean? He gave me the name Kane. He gave me a lot of grief. He gave me a lot of war because he was just like, you're not listening. And it should be done by tomorrow. And I just like, that's not realistic, but all right. You know what I mean? And his rap name was like Broccoli Rob. And I was like, if I was to ever rap, my name would be Broccoli Rob. So I was like, what would hang out with a piece of broccoli? Oh, they can hang out with a piece of broccoli. They can go on smoking adventures and live their life. You know what I'm saying? I realized people do like broccoli, but out of nowhere, the panda became an instant like, we enjoy seeing this. Like, I like it. I do like my niece and my nephew, their little outfits with panda stuff in, and like kids really bang. Yes, I got a little purple soon. She can feel like a real size clothes. You know what I mean? No, it's already. She on the list. You know what I mean? Baby May sign on there too. I got you. And yeah, I paint from like the thought of where I paint is joy and wildness. Yes, and there's a lot of vaginas in this room behind me. I will not lie. The thought is, I like seeing how people react, and sometimes it takes a strong thing to make a reaction in a person. The word sex bothers people because it has so many different levels of variations and moments that have happened to people along with the word. Yet, it opens them up to an emotion to then be calmed or relaxed based upon what happens next. And if you put vivid images and colors and then something for sand for people to stand in, because one thing I will say in this talk, what people have told me from their own personal experience from just being in the sand is exactly what I was looking to capture. And I didn't even know some of that shit I was looking to capture. You know what I mean? I didn't know that it was my thought was gonna bring other people real life. I'm glad I went in there. Thank you for letting me relax. You know what I mean? So I ended off with saying like, Panda Zen Garden is definitely a thing. And for further progress, we're gonna start dropping them randomly, like graffiti style around the city. And I plan to put one in Fairmount Park and just put it on Google Maps and see what happens with it. And we're gonna go from where we go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm K, K-A-A-N-G. The artwork is under the groove, and once again, I just ask, before you leave, take a lap in there. You know what I mean? And listen to what happens in the words from Terrell and Randy as well. Like, two very dope artists, grateful to have the first opportunity with y'all in this space. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I had started to see your work when I met you with your homework, and I knew I wanted to see more of what you did. So when you told me the idea, I was like, nah, get loose. It's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to see people experience joy. Art is such a cold, galleries tend to be cold. There is, I don't know, a series of attitudes, a series of intentions, and it's sort of clinical. And I tell people, do here what you can do in other galleries. Universities might have the most liberal, they give the most freedom, but they're locked. They're still locked in. They have 2-year schedules. Here we can do things in 3 weeks. Like I put some artists in bash, you know, thank you for rocking it, man. Last minute, you know, I'm like, dude, you got 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I forget what it was, you know, I don't know. And there's no satisfaction better than to see people react, to see people out loud enjoy, or at least respond. It doesn't have to be joy, but today was a perfect example. A young man walked in, and the CEO was in the back, and this guy was like, out loud. He was so excited to see your work. I met him towards at the end, and he was still excited. He was like, this is things that I understand. These are my subject matter. You know, I see myself. And he was really excited. And I'm like, that's fucked up, excuse the French. You know, that we would need to feel like that. You should feel at home always. And we made sure that he read your information. That was really cool. Excuse me. So, you know, with your piece, I mean, we're doing so many events to have the laughter, to have the conversation, you know, people dialoguing, people want to ask questions, want to know why. And that doesn't always happen. So it's really, to me, that's success when people are engaged. In this exhibit, I rarely show my work in this space. I will include my work in political shows and group shows. But I've been really excited about doing what I'm doing now, and I didn't really have anybody set up back there. So I got the opportunity and showed my current crazy work. So if you haven't had a time to go back there, they're all done on American flags. They're my patriotic body of work. There's this whole different ranges of them, different motifs, paintings to applied. These are the three big pieces are lighter statements. I use garbage. I use usually colorful plastic pieces of garbage that in pattern, in repetition, tell a story. So I've used, before coming here, we were in the South Bronx during the AIDS epidemic, the crack epidemic was happening at the same time. And my boy, Mikey Pinheiro, had just died from this mysterious disease that nobody understood yet. And then we find out later that he probably died of AIDS with his body parts. Mikey he's a legendary Puerto Rican writer, if any of you don't know him. He's one of the creators of Miami Vice. That is pop work. He's the first Puerto Rican playwright to have a play on Broadway. The play Short Eyes later on became a major movie. He was a junkie, heroin junkie, learned how to write in prison, and became a legend, got two Guggenheims, got Rockefellers, and I was privileged to be good friends. And in one of his books, he talked about the method of surviving that women prostitute, the way they prostitute themselves in the Lower East Side. And spoke about their abilities to see different kinds of rainbows and different color schemes. And that ability to create beauty out of this desperate, negative reality really impressed me, because that's my thinking. I'm thinking, okay, how do you what's the value of a rose in the junkyard? How do you, as a young man, I was a revolutionary, I really wanted to change the world. And you try to figure, okay, how do I communicate with my people? Because you're communicating with the intellectuals, communicating with certain people, but we sort of miss the community. So how do you communicate with the community? So the idea that you can make any kind of rainbow and any kind of scheme really impressed the hell out of me. So I went off. I started doing brown rainbows and gray rainbows, vertical rainbows. Then I discovered crack vials. We had a squad in the South Bronx with a community garden. So it was perfect for the tricks to come pull up and do their business. Langston Hughes referred to women who did business with their bodies for the sake of acquiring drugs as heroin pussy, excuse the French. Might have a small piece in the back, which sold. He's excited. So excited. It's called, again, excuse the French, it's called crack pussy. And it's referencing Langston Hughes. And that's because the lingo, the crack vials have different sizes and different colors. And depending on the service that you provide, is how many crack vials or which type of crack vials you get for it. So a young lady would provide a certain service for one of these jars or for 3 of those. And crack is intense. Crack is not like drinking or smoking weed. Crack is heavy stuff, especially when you're strung out. And what really attracted my attention is that you do that, right? You're in the middle of a sexual business enterprise, in a car, in a place that's not yours, and you smoke the stuff, and you take the little cap, and you put it back on the vial before you flip it out the window. That blew my mind away. I'm lazy. I would not go through that process. I would just throw both out the window if I'm gonna litter anyway. So that was like, wow, rainbows. I started doing rainbows out of crack vials. I started doing whole wall rainbows, little rainbows. The one in the back is a vertical rainbow. So that's where the lighters come from. It's more like these are colorful little plastic things that goes from hand to pocket to mouth to hand to share. It's real. It's a real tangible, magical object, like all garbage is. But it has a little bit of Saudi Arabia in it. It has a little bit of, it is an investment in the oil industry. We each, those of us who smoke, in our pocket we have a little bit of an investment in the oil industry. And I think that's really cool, you know? I'm an investor in the oil industry. I sell real estate too. I sell real estate in bubblegum machines for 50 cents. You can get a piece of real estate from wherever I stole the dirt from. So I'll sell you a piece of Fifth Avenue real estate for 50 cents. I'm thinking of raising the prices though. Inflation is, yeah, you gotta make a living somehow, you know? So these pieces are me trying to, again, figure out how to communicate to not just the choir, how to communicate with a range of people. I was always told that artists can't be literal, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be literal. So they're my language-based pieces. They're really fun to me because it's more about what the audience sees more than what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm trying to present. The flag has become a field. I started using the American flag out of anti-censorship preoccupation. I was quoted twice in Congress as to why the National Endowment for the Arts should be eliminated. So we've been doing this for a year or two. I presented Dred Scott's piece in my gallery in the Bronx. It's national attention. So since then, I've been in the front dealing a lot with censorship issues. That's why I started doing the work. And then recently in the politics, you have all these black flags being used. And I was like, I thought it was just right-wing shenanigans. And I started using the black flag because they have beautiful color, the contrast in my rainbows. And then I learned that they're not fake. Black flags are a real thing. They're tactical military flags. And there's a way, protocols, the whole nine. So then I was like, yes, we're gonna push that envelope to the T. So, so my fuck you piece, which is a lot of people have a shock value with it, and it does, is called the American Political Discourse. It's not my concept. You know, when you're 4 years old, I hope I'm good he's not getting it yet. He's like, well, yes, I am. They're horrible, man. They'll be 3 rooms away, and you think you're gossiping, they know everything you're talking about. But my work pushes the edge. Pushes the edge. I want, you know, it's like, you just gotta fuck out there. We have the avenue. We live upstairs. It's daily music. Daily. Any kid who's been to daycare already knows it. They hear it. You might not do it. You have, depending on your household, you control it. But it's perverse, and that's how we don't see each other. It's like F you, F you, F you, F you, and we don't see each other. That's the effort, you know. And I know it's shocking. It has that. That's why at the end of the house, the good burning house, and that was an earlier motif, trying to find again language that would speak to people who are not intellectuals, who don't have 2 degrees in the fine art world. We can talk about house, like I see that, and then we can discuss. It's a portal to that. So that's my effort. I could talk for 7 nights. Those of you that know me, so. But it's been a real pleasure doing what I'm doing now, and thank you for time, and hope you enjoy. I'm gonna turn it over To our main artist, our feature artist of the month, Terrell. He's the first artist. That's a result of a new system that we've created. We started doing before. Actually, it was the first show that was canceled, I think, during COVID.
Yep, it was the first one.
We started doing a photo show as an annual. And the second show, and the first show, we had some kind of sponsorship. I forget how we got some money.
Yeah, a sponsorship from Susan Guggenheim.
Okay, so we had all the artists in the show pick the best in the show, and they got the little prize. The second year we didn't have that. I didn't have the whereabouts to find money. I was too everywhere. So we didn't. We figured, well, it's an honor anyway. We'll do the best in show when your peers pick you as best in show. That's an honor. So we did that. Terrell, with this stunning piece, got the best in show. And after it happened, we were like, wait a minute, we don't have money, but we have something. So we figured, well, let's turn it into something worth a little bit more than some chunk change. And we figured we'd feature you as an artist. So we're gonna do it as a tradition. We're now gonna do the photo show as a biennial. So 1 year will be the photo show, best in show, we get sold the next year. And hopefully that will be an incentive of value. We are what we are. We are a scrappy little operation. We're proud of it, and hopefully it will grow. Maybe we'll do 4 artists and have.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna come right over to you.
What's a better angle for that?
Oh no, I got you now. We live. Well, we not live, but you recorded.
You done took somebody live with no permission.
Damn, right?
Nah, I just got you. Yeah.
Hey, yo, y'all ready? All right, yo, listen, y'all. So we recording right now.
Now the best moments are always caught off guard.
I know.
That's precision pouring, guys. No spillage, nothing.
And it's with well, it's with sake.
That's even better.
You the most narrating cameraman.
He
I've never heard you most cameraman job. You gonna put in my background.
got muted up. He got muted up. Like what?
Wow, it took the whiskey edge away too. It takes away all the
Right.
Sock it down. It's always
We got a winner?
Yeah, we got a winner with the wings.
Hey. Sponsored by Fly Mouth. Y'all see the brother.